Alright, hey everybody, just real quick before the video starts, because I don't know, it felt weird not pointing it out. You're gonna see a bit of a weird hair difference versus my previous video, and I guess how I look right now. Basically the video was filmed back in February, and I was putting off a haircut. Just heads up. Anyways, enjoy the video. I'll see you guys at the end. Hey guys, it's Evan here, and welcome back to another video, and today we are going into yet another thing that I've been putting off for way too long. Today is episode 3 of the Spider-Man Homecoming suit series, and this is the final episode because this suit is finally completed. Oh, it's got everything on it, shoes and all, and yeah, let's go ahead. We're gonna lay the costume out. I'm gonna show you how it all looks, who all the parts were made by, and then we're gonna throw the costume on, and you guys will get a look of how this thing looks while it's on me. Alright, so here we go. Zoomed in a little bit. We're gonna give the overview of everything I got going on for this costume, so I hope this kind of works out. So starting with the pattern itself, I've talked about this before, but we're going to talk about it again. So starting with the pattern itself, this suit is very, very unique. So this suit was originally made by my buddy Aaron. It was his project. It wound up being a little bit too big for him, but basically the pattern itself, the printing of the fabric and the pattern was made by Brian Alzate. It was then sewn together by Heroes Time, and these bands were added on by them as well. It then got to Aaron. It was basically a little bit too big for him. He thought of me. I tried it on. It fit me perfectly, and I bought it from there and continued the project, and it took way too long to actually finish it. But continuing on, the front spider, I believe, was made by JJ Industries. He's kind of an older creator. I don't know if he's still in the game anymore. But the front spider is just gorgeous. And I got it spaced out properly and everything like it is on the movie suit. So continuing down, we have, of course, the web cartridges glued onto the costume itself. They glue on really well with the rubber bands. I just used super glue for them. These cartridges were from T-Jack, which conveniently enough, they actually fit the costume perfectly. Like, look at that. They line up just perfect. Now, I've had them pop off a couple of times, but it's nothing a little re-gluing can't fix. Now we get into the shoes. The shoes are really cool. I do have to do some re-gluing of these because, as you can see, they're not perfectly lined up, but that's as simple as peeling off the sole and then gluing it back on. Inside of the costume, it's just a water boot, water sock. It had like a more flat bottom to it, so it made it easier to glue the sole on. The sole is by T-Jack. It comes in a couple separate parts, so the red and all of the black is separate when you get it, and then you have to just you glue everything together, and I again just used Loctite and super glue for it, and it's held together really well. Some parts have started to peel off, but that's just a simple re-glue to do, and I've walked around in this and it's pretty comfortable. I haven't done anything intense, like I haven't walked on like gravel or anything, but at least walking around my house, it makes for a comfortable shoe. And then flipping the costume over, you have the back of the suit, so it is a U-zip for the entire costume, pretty similar to the movie one. The movie costume, actually, it has 2 zippers that go down the side here, and then 1 zipper that goes across. Gives for less of a ripple effect, but of course for mine it is just a standard U-zip going on. Rest of the back of the costume is the same as in my previous video, but then of course we have the T-Jack back spider, which is glued on, and somehow the back spider I got, it matches the color of the reds really, really well, and I spent a lot of time making sure that I put this on in the right spot, that I got it all even out compared to the movie, because I really, really love this back spider. And then getting into the accessories. So, of course, just like the last video, I have my good old John Donaldson. I think these were his version 2 web shooters. The dude, at least to my knowledge, is not in the game anymore. He doesn't make these, but you can get some really good ones now from T-Jack. I am actually considering replacing these with the T-Jack ones, because these here, they're more of like a rubbery design. And you'll see when I put it on, like it sits a little weird sometimes, but the new T-Jack ones are like 3D printed and they're like solid pieces. I have a friend that I've tried them on from, and they're really, really cool. And of course it has the strap here to wear underneath the costume for the web trigger, so it magnetizes. And then for face shells, I've actually got 2 going on here. So the first one, of course, my Peter Parker Industries Homecoming face shell and lens set. I love this face shell so much. It's one of my all-time favorites. It looks really, really good. The face shape looks great. The shell, it's a really solid shell. Like, let me see if I can unzip this to show you guys. Like, I'm not taking it fully off, but like, that shell that's thick. You could probably beat someone to death with it, but it just gives such a great face shape, and it fits my face just perfectly. It's one of the favorite shells I own, and I love using it with this costume. And then we've got what is my favorite piece of this costume, honestly. This is, so the suit came with a second mask, because originally Aaron was planning to get a moving face shell and lens set for one, and then using the other one for just a standard face shell lens set. What I wound up doing is I have, you know, the spare mask, which is used for the face shell and lens set, but then the second mask, I had actually, oddly enough, an old Brian Alzate face shell and lens set, which fit me a little weird. The shell was a little too small for my face. I think I've shown it off in previous videos. But what I did is I just took those lenses and glued them onto this spare mask. And I now have just a handheld Spider-Man Homecoming mask, which is really cool considering how much in the movies, you know, he kind of takes his mask off and you see it as a handheld. And it's really fun to just have that prop. But anyways, yeah, that is the Homecoming suit. Let's go ahead and throw this thing on me and you guys can see how I look in it, and I will talk about how what my opinions on me wearing the suit are right now. Alrighty, here we go, guys. Here is how the Homecoming suit looks on me. Now, before I throw the masks on, I'm just going to kind of talk about the overall looks of this thing. So, I have wavering opinions on how I feel about myself wearing this costume for a variety of reasons. Now, obviously, cosplay is for everybody. You can cosplay whatever you want at whatever age, but for me personally, because I hold such a personal connection with this character, I like to kind of, you know, represent the character as best I can, and when I'm wearing this costume, first of all, I don't love how it looks on me. I feel like because the belt is so high, because I've got a little bit of a gut developing, a little bit of love handles, I know I can lose them with the weight, but it's like, for some reason on me, I've never loved the high up belt. And then there's the other factor of just the age of the character. This version of Spidey, you know, he's like 16, 17 years old, so I am at least a good, more than like 15 years roughly older than he is when he wears this costume. But it's just like, for the personal connection, as I'm continuing my Spidey stuff moving forward, I want to kind of represent a little bit more of an adult Spider-Man rather than the kid version of Spider-Man, which is a shame because I love this costume. The Homecoming suit is my favorite costume that Tom has worn throughout his time in the MCU, and it's the first suit that we ever saw Tom in. But anyway, just to kind of show you guys stuff, here's how the web shooters look. Like I was saying, because they are made out of rubber, sometimes you can tell. Like, it moves like that. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, because I know that the movies, they do a lot of CGI to make sure stuff looks all flesh and whatnot. And Homecoming suit itself was kind of covered in CG. But yeah, it's cool. It looks really great. You got the back spider there. Love that back spider. But we'll tilt it down for a second there. You guys can see how the pants and the shoes look. Like I said, I do need to probably adjust these shoes, but overall, they're awesome. We've got the accurate soles going on there, which I love doing accurate soles on costumes. You know, it's like no one's ever gonna see it, but it's always fun to know that the accurate soles are in fact there. Let's throw those masks on without wasting more time. So like I was saying earlier, I have two masks and we're gonna show them both off. So the first one I've got is this one, of course, you know, the Peter Parker Industries face shell and lens set. I do have other lenses I could shape, I think, to fit this, but I haven't done it yet. Maybe someday in the future. But yeah, that's the hard mask, you know, the good-looking mask. And then we have my loose mask, which can also be worn. So you've got the loose mask here. Like I said, it is just lenses glued to the fabric mask with the, they've got the cool mesh in there, so a little bit, little reflective. So in its own way, this mask has something that my hard shell does not. So I'm about to throw the shell on. Something really cool to point out about the zipper on this costume. It is not actually down the middle like most patterns are. It's actually copying, I think, how the actual suit itself looks. And it's down the side instead. It goes down a different seam. So, I don't know. Something cool I like about the zipper for the suit. Alright, so here we go. Here is the mask placed onto the costume itself. I think this looks really good. I love the face shape that this thing has. I love the overall look of it. Like I've said, this is one of my favorite MCU shells ever produced, even if it is very, very heavy. Like, I don't know if you can hear that, like, that thing is solid. It is not breaking anytime soon. But yeah, I think it looks really cool with the, just everything. It's a great looking shell, even if it's hard to breathe in, and my voice gets fairly muffled. I feel like it's a lot more muffled than the normal mask, facial lenses would be. Hope I'm getting some good images here, but yeah, that's how that looks, and now we'll go ahead and switch on over to the fabric mask. Alrighty, so here we go, guys. Here we've got our fabric mask with the lenses glued on, and the thing I love about this, let's see if I can get this going on the first try. You can literally just do this. And magical cut for adjustment. Here we go. Here is how the fabric mask looks on me without a face shell and lenses. I think it looks pretty good. I always like to pride myself on having a pretty good natural Spidey face shape. Downside to these lenses is they fog up pretty easily because, again, they've got the mesh on them. But yeah, I like this. The idea I always had with this is I use it mostly as a display mask in my display setup. But I also like the idea that I could use this if I was ever doing charity events, if I ever used this suit for something like that, where I could just, you know, kind of walk around, have this mask, I can lift it up easily like he does in the movie for drinks of water, even though now I can't see out of the thing. But yeah, it's a fun gimmick, especially when a lot of the scenes in Homecoming were filmed with just a mask like this because they knew he'd either be pulling the mask off or that they would be replacing it with CGI later to fix the face shape and add the moving lenses in. And yeah, just with one of these, you can just kind of pull it right on off, and there we go. Anyways, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. It's really cool to finally be able to show off this costume. I realized the last video I did on it, I think, was like 3 or 4 years ago, so apologies again for taking so long. But yeah, you know, one last turnaround of the costume. It looks great. I love how this thing is. But yeah, remember to follow my other social medias, or I guess at this point media, because the only thing I really use these days out of the popular social medias is Instagram and, of course, here on YouTube. I have a huge backlog to get through, so this is one of those videos, and I'm going to be putting out more, hopefully, here in the near future. Alrighty, hey everybody, future Evan here once again, because past Evan apparently forgot to record an outro for this video. And then I am also tagging everybody who contributed any kind of piece to this costume, all of those tags down in the description below. Obviously, you won't be able to recreate this exact costume that I just showed off, but you can definitely look into them for parts, pretty much. But yeah, again, thank you all for watching. It's great being back and making videos again. I may or may not have a release schedule, so stick around, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Comment down below because I am trying to be a little more engaging within the comments. Yeah, I miss doing YouTube stuff, so I'm trying to get back to using YouTube as a creative process for myself. Remember to stay frosty, and I will see you all in the next video.